and put them as one.
Oh, really?
So it was approved correctly on the screen, but you guys signed a different one.
Morning.
So,
You want a new one signed?
yeah, so I'm just gonna have you guys sign a new one.
Right now?
Well, you can sign it with all the other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing's ever easy, is it, Teresa?
Oh, it's easy, it's just,
Yeah, something gets thrown at you.
Me?
it's like, oh, okay.
Oh. 9:31. Hey, I was here, so. Already? Okay, good morning. It's July 28th, 2023. Welcome to the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Whoa, we have no flag. Whoa.
Where the heck did it go?
Where the flag? Who stole the stars and stripes?
They went to get it.
Okay, please sit down.
Why would they move the flag?
They must have needed it for another.
Yeah, they must have
in
it
the
for
next
me.
room.
That kind of looks like 1776 here.
Thank you, Mr.
Our
Spears.
apologies for the delay.
I just won't hand it.
Yeah.
Just let you go.
Just let me know.
Here, I'm gonna get out of your way. I'll try to.
Maybe this is a good time to do budget talks and see about a second flag. Thanks, man.
I think it goes down. Put this.
We're good.
Okay,
I think that's where it went.
try this again. Please rise. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Matt.
They have planning commission yesterday, they must have borrowed it.
Oh, okay.
Another room.
Oh, okay. Madam Clerk,
Commissioner Moore,
here.
Commissioner Dell,
Here.
Commissioner Hung.
Here.
We have a quorum. Under resolutions, number 1, investments.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Dell.
All right.
Number 2, appropriations.
We have one page here for the appropriations. Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Dell.
All right.
Number 3, transfers. Oh, there are no transfers.
Yeah, we do.
Get
Do we?
out of sheriff's,
Yeah.
vacation payout.
No, go back. Oh, you know what? Does he not have it? Okay, let me get mine.
I'll just put
Do you have
it
yours
right
out?
there.
Is that it?
We put it underneath the, I'll wait for it to zoom in a little bit. Okay, we only have one page and one item really on the transfers. Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
All right.
Number 4, advances and repayments.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Hung,
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell.
All right.
Number 5, requisitions.
We have 3 pages of requisitions today. Any discussion? For those that are complaining in past meetings in regards to the cost of renovating our offices up here, in regards to the potential of 3 versus 7 commissioners, I want you to take a look at 1358. $262,000 was being spent on remodeling. Just thought I'd throw that in today. Page 2, please. As you can see, we have some or some utility costs in this one. Page 3, please. I move to approve pages 1, 2, and 3 of the requisitions.
Second.
Discussion.
President.
Yes.
Casey, the equipment, the $80,000 for the Board of Elections, is that part of their normal program, or is that gonna be part of the, reimbursed by the, Secretary of State for the special election?
Sure. Do you have, just so I can, do you have the number on that one by chance?
What page?
My ease of finding that.
I think it's page 2 of,
1364.
13.
yeah, page 2, please. Yep, there it is. Okay. They were buying additional scanners.
Commissioner, I don't know if this is specifically for the special election or if this is for the November election. I don't have that information here to know if this is specifically for the special election, the upcoming special election, or November.
Was this out of their normal, budget?
Yes, this is, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
this is not above and beyond, at this point of their original ask. Yeah, so.
That was the point I was trying to reach to then, is that, normal expenses and replacing equipment and those kinds of things are supposed to appear in a budget.
Okay, any other questions? Discussion? Okay.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Number 6, travel.
This is today's travel. Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 7, bills.
Okay, this is page 1 of bills. This week there was some issues. We kind of are in the process of trying to resolve it. So Casey sent us an email last night to all three of us, and this is the corrected bills that we'll be voting on today. If we need to review it any longer. If not, if you could go to page 2, please. The changes were really made on page 1, I believe, right, Casey? Okay. Move to approve pages 1 and 2 of the bills.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 8, commissioners may recess an executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
I don't anticipate going into executive session today. Do you want to, oh, you have one? Okay. We're going to put on there for public review that we will be voting on the personnel summary sheet. I move to approve the personnel summary sheet.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
D, public comment on agenda items.
Don't think we have any.
C, old business.
Nope.
Okay. D, board business. Number 9, adopting Lorain County Board of Commissioners travel and expense reimbursement policy effective July 28, 2023. It includes the IRS mileage reimbursement.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 10, and enter into an agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management for the sale and lease of vehicles from Lorain County Commissioners Department. Fleet Management will purchase county vehicles, and county will lease up to 16 county fleet vehicles, including facilities and IT departments, and 8 county transit vehicles in the amount of $126,000 annually to be paid from various county commissioners' departments, and transit vehicles in the amount of $164,000 annually, which will be reimbursed by FTA.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Would you guys like to discuss what we're doing with this? Because this is a change of how we've done business in the past, and I think an explanation should be. Okay, here we go.
First, good morning,
Good
and thank
morning.
you for
Good morning.
having me. Everyone see it? All right. So I just have a small agenda just to go over today. This first page just goes over our cycle of service, we call it. This shows everything we can do from a fleet management standpoint, but no, it's a la carte, meaning whatever makes the most sense to the county is what we would recommend. But this is something you'll constantly see with us because we do more than just buying and selling vehicles. Okay.
If you don't mind, if you could state your name and position.
Sure.
Okay.
My name's Casey Krupko, and I'm an account executive with Enterprise Fleet in Strongsville.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Yeah. This is an example of your current fleet today. It breaks down different manufacturers you have, how long you hold the vehicles. On average, it's about 13 years right now. And that's what, and this is the kind of analysis we put in front of you, so you just see your fleet, what your average mileage is, and how long you're holding your vehicles. This will break down by vehicle type and your average annual miles by vehicle type, which is interesting because, of course, different departments will travel different mileage. So we really do customize your plan based on vehicle type. It's not everything's one plan. It's based on what makes the most sense on your mileage and the vehicle type. I put this information on here for state contract increase year over year. Prior to COVID, vehicle prices on average were about 30 grand, which is what the capital budget was set on. However, year over year, you see the increase in the market we're in today, and acquisition costs are higher than ever, which is why a lot of cities and counties have started working with us, because the leasing structure does help from the capital standpoint, so they're not having to put so much cash up front in their capital. This breaks down your current budget if you were to pay cash on the vehicles you're looking at getting this year. And below, you'll see the enterprise budget on a lease plan. The difference in cash flow is that $800,000. And this is the point I was saying from that previous page. This is why we're having so many different government entities work with us, just because it's helping so much substantially, not pouring so much cash into something 1 year. Any questions so far?
Nope.
The next 2 pages, this is a referral letter from one of our existing clients. I wanted to pick somebody here in Northern Ohio just because it does speak volumes. We do work with people all around the country, but this is somebody local. If you ever have any questions, of course, you can reach out. And then this next page just has a list of a few of our current partners here in Northern Ohio. If you ever wanted to speak to any of them, we could provide contact information, and you could see what it truly is like to work with us after the partnership, so you can see why that partnership sustains long term. And that's all I had.
Okay. I know the administrator has been working on this for a while, so. Yeah,
Yes, Mr. President. Actually, Karen, when I came over here in February, had been in contact with Enterprise and the city of North Ridgeville, which was not on Casey's list. I think you probably did that on purpose, right?
It was not on here. I've been meeting with Karen. It was JR as well at the time since October. So this has been a long time.
Yeah, we started a program a couple of years ago. Actually, it was probably longer than that, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And started out with one, and it has really worked out well. It's improved our maintenance. It's lowered our maintenance cost. It's lowered our fuel cost because we've got new trucks that are out there. And certainly our image over there is important. And I think that our image here at the county needs to be livened up. And I think with the addition of these vehicles and how we're going to manage them, we'll certainly be proud of the vehicles that we're driving. And you'll appreciate the cost savings as we move forward into this program and lease more. So it's proven in these communities out here, it's proven in North Ridgeville, and Enterprise has done a great job helping government save money.
Now, did we have to go out to bid on this, or is this a service?
No, because the state bid, they actually beat the state bids.
Oh, they do?
Oh,
Oh,
they-
okay.
tremendously.
Okay.
I don't know how many cars and trucks you buy, 1.5 million, 2 million, or 2.5 million?
2.5 million.
2.5 million cars, trucks, and their costs are less than probably even more than that.
Okay.
Jeff, have we looked at, this is obviously the difference between buying and owning and leasing, and that has its own merits in itself. Have we looked at the usage of the county vehicles?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we have. When I first started working with Enterprise back in October, that was one of the first things that I sent over to Casey and her team, was the list of county vehicles and the mileage. And that's one of the things, we don't put a lot of miles on our vehicles, whether they're the maintenance fleet vehicles, the maintenance trucks, or the commissioner's fleet vehicles. Especially the fleet, it tends to set for long periods of time, doesn't get a lot of use. And then the maintenance trucks, we're not going anywhere but in Lorain County. So the trucks are old, but they have low miles on them. So we kind of keep them around way too long because of that reason. And then to support what Mr. Armbruster's saying, the fleet looks a little rough. So, and the cost to replace all those trucks it's just more than our budget can handle. And this gives us some flexibility. We're able to basically add newer vehicles to the fleet as we go instead of trying to replace, 12, 15 pickup trucks all at one time at a cost of over $60,000.
Want to add to that too, is a lot of times most of the time, our employees take their own cars because our fleet cars that are out there, when they drive them, they got flat spots on their tires, so it goes bam, bam, bam.
And dead batteries and all kinds of things, so, yeah.
So when they're sitting around like that, it doesn't help a car to be sitting in a garage, whether it's uncovered or not. So it's in Enterprise's case, actually, if somebody needs a vehicle, they actually can pick one up right here in Elyria. They've got a facility here, and if we need a larger vehicle, they can bring it in from Avon. Unfortunately, I did mention Avon. They've got one, or in Strongsville, they would bring over one of their larger vehicles. Let's say if they needed something that haul 8 people or 10 people, they could provide that for us. And then that would be a government rate that they would do so that the tires would not, you would then have flat spots and you'd be in a nice vehicle to actually go to Columbus or downtown Cleveland or wherever you're headed to.
Yeah, because if you don't mind, we actually did, once Karen sent me the mileage, we ran an analysis because we look at underutilized vehicles, something if it's sitting too long, it shouldn't be kept. And there were about 8 to 10, I believe, on that list that we recommended you don't need. And that's something that we constantly monitor, because why would you have something sitting and depreciating when you don't use it? So we would recommend you sell them and not replace them.
And a part of this program that we're speaking of today includes Enterprise selling those vehicles for us and then taking the proceeds that we receive and applying those towards our lease costs.
Mhm.
And one of the things that we have is some very new sedans with very low miles on them. And those things are valuable right now. There's not a lot of them out there on the market, and I think we'll get a good price for those through your folks
Yes.
at Enterprise.
Correct, we will sell them for you and apply it.
Is this a multi-year lease, or can we amend this on an annual basis if we need more or less vehicles?
Sure. So this lease is very flexible. There's no term penalties, no wear and tear. Don't think of your typical dealership lease. It is very flexible. So you can change it at any point. You can shorten a term. You can extend a term. It's a constant, ongoing conversation that we can have with you. So you're not locked in.
And I can speak to North Ridgeville that when the trucks were not available and we had trucks on order, they didn't take the trucks back. We kept the vehicles that we had at the same rate, and it worked out. So, because it's an open end, it's really a government. If the truck if it's supposed to be, it's 36 months or 48 months, it's just open-ended, and we can trade them in or purchase them after a year if you wanted to purchase the truck or the car. And if the vehicle doesn't come in, you're not going to return a vehicle. You're going to keep it until such time as they deliver the vehicle to us. So it really is extremely flexible, and it really improves the image of the rolling fleet that we've got. And I want to commend Karen and Casey for continuing to work through this process, because it really is going to enhance our visibility and our maintenance cost, and again, the fuel.
And I will say that we have an opportunity through Enterprise to use local dealerships in order to get the vehicles that we're looking for.
Yes. If you tell us which dealerships you prefer, then we, of course, would make those the priority.
I don't have the long-term video of how the fleet works, but it seems to me there's a lot of vehicles in the garage as I go in and out of the parking garage.
Yeah,
And I realize that part of it is that some of the vehicles are a little aged, but also in talking to some people about how they handle their, they might have to leave the office for an hour a week on company, on county business, and they take their own vehicle because their Bluetooth is there, so they can use their phone, they hands-free, and all that kind of stuff. Plus, if they're doing something at the end of the day, they avoid having to come back here to turn in the county car to get their personal car. So I was just, I'd like us to take a little bit of a broader look at the whole issue, and including insurance. Are people insured if they take their own car and all that kind of
Right.
stuff?
Actually, the fleet that you see in the garage that is available for employees today will no longer be there at the end of this program that we're entering into. If a county employee needs to take a vehicle, then we would lease that through Enterprise for that day, time, week, for that experience. And you previously approved an updated travel and expense reimbursement policy. As a part of that policy, it takes into consideration that employees are using their personal vehicles more often, and we've increased the per diem rate for mileage reimbursement. And there's something else in there I'm forgetting. For meals, yeah. So,
It contains both, I believe it contains both a mileage reimbursement and a new per diem rate, I think is the point.
yes, that's correct, Mr. Petticord.
And the reimbursement goes back to the federal government as to the cost of miles that changes on a yearly basis. So it's not something that you pass, it's just something that goes up and down, or, well, it never comes down, it always goes up.
It's set by the IRS, you probably know that better than anybody else, but it's set by the IRS and everybody follows what the IRS puts in, just like you did when you were in the private sector, and I did when I was in the private sector, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll end up with 10 more parking places in the garage, which is good.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
No, I'm just thinking, I had one more question. This is just under the commissioners, correct? This isn't children's services or,
That's correct,
Okay, 'cause
Commissioner.
there's
It's
other-
just commissioner departments, commissioner vehicles.
Okay.
Doesn't affect children's services
Job and
or
family.
job and family
Okay.
services or any of those agencies.
is this something we can lead by example and maybe they could?
That's something I was
Absolutely.
gonna say
Okay.
that.
Yeah. In fact, I think the sheriff's office did a similar contract earlier in the year
Okay.
for some of their vehicles.
Okay. Cool. That was it. Thanks.
Okay. Excuse me. Commissioner Moore?
I,
Commissioner Rendell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
11, authorize county administrator to enter into negotiations for strategic planning services to develop a 5-year comprehensive sustainable strategic plan for Lorain County at a cost not to exceed $120,000, and this will be paid from the professional services account.
so moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Mr. President, Dave, Dave Greenspan's got a presentation he'd like to make on this.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good
Morning.
morning. Morning, Commissioners. One of the key strategies, I'm sorry, Dave Greenspan. I'm new, I'm learning. It's only my second meeting. One of the key initiatives I'm going to be working on in my role under special projects is the strategic plan. And I want to just provide you a brief overview of the timeline that's taken us from the initiation of this project to where we are today and what we can expect in the near future. So up on the screen you have in front of you on May 19th, an RFP was issued for strategic planning professional services. Those RFPs were to be submitted back by June 30th. We did receive 5 proposals by the deadline, and on July 7th, there was an evaluation that was conducted, and 3 proposals were advanced for in-person interviews. 2 of those interviews took place on July 24th, and the other on July 27th. So before you today is, as was read by the clerk, is the resolution authorizing the administrator to enter into negotiations with one of the RFP providers. Here's the future expectation is that we'll have by August 8th before you a contract to vote on so we can start the process and move the process forward. In the RFP, it was the expectation that we would start around August 1st and finish around April, in order to meet that deadline, that is why we're looking at this August 8th. Hopeful that we'll have a contract before you on August 8th. I'm glad to answer any questions.
Mr. President? For the benefit of the audience, this is a key piece in our preparation when we talk about the 200th anniversary next year, and the April deadline for the strategic plan is engineered to try and hit, so that as we start the celebration of the 200th anniversary, we've not only taken a great deal of pain to look at our past, but also looked at where we want to go in the future. And I'm very proud of the staff and the way that they have grabbed this, and we welcome Dave Greenspan to join us. He's got a great deal of experience in these kinds of forward-thinking projects. And our goal is to try and turn this around from where we actually not only just pay bills, but we try and take a strategic look at what the county can do for people, well, how we can better serve the taxpayers and the citizens. And instead of just making it walk in and request your money, try and provide some guidance so that we can improve the stature, that not only economically, but the quality of life in Lorain County for all our residents. And I look forward to for all of the employees at the county to get engaged in this, as well as the citizens. This is a collaborative event, and I think that I think we'll be shocked when we get to the end of it. We'll see what can happen when you put good minds together.
Thank you. And to that, this is actually, to the Commissioner's point, a very exciting time in the county's history. As was mentioned, celebrating in May the 200th anniversary, a reflection on the past, and the strategic plan being an opportunity to shape the future. The timing is perfect, and I believe you're gonna be very pleased with the product.
We look for- Go ahead.
Mr. Greenspan, when we first started talking about the strategic plan, and also North Ridgeville, we have had strategic plan, and there were periods of time that were kind of bannered around the 5-year plan versus a 10-year plan. Can you kind of give us some of your thoughts and insights in those discussions and how we landed where we are in the time frame?
Great, thank you, Commissioner. So I may have to ask for a lifeline on that because I've only been here, this is my 10th day. So some of these.
Maybe.
What's your point?
Deb can help with that too, because he's been through this process.
I'm reading the minutes as far back as I can go, but I'm going to have to defer to some of the previous discussions prior to my employment.
The county administrator's been through this in North Ridgeville, and he can kind of give his thoughts on, 5 versus 10 versus which way we think we might be looking.
Well,
That's a loaded question because you three are elected. And if the plan is done extremely well, which I know it's going to be, with the 5 narrowing down to 3, and Karen was part of the team, Dave. I was a non-voter. I was there listening. Commissioner Rydell let me come to the meetings, which was thank you very much. I did have some words to say because I've gone through it with North Ridgeville, but I didn't vote. But the strategic plan, quite honestly, is, if it's done well, which I know it will be done well by and it's embraced. What's really cool is that Nord Foundation, the Community Foundation, the other foundations out there have really endorsed the facts. First time we've really taken the opportunity with Commissioner Riddell to go out and say, okay, what is the plan? Where can we go? And it dovetails right into my presentation, which I can do right now, is that Jobs Ohio has been working with Lorain County over the last several months. And yesterday, I was attended with Jobs Ohio at their request to go to Washington, D.C. and meet with Vance, meet with Sherrod Brown's office and Vance's office, as well as we spent 45 minutes with Bob Latta, Congressman Latta, and the Department of Transportation, and with the various meetings to talk about large plots of land and access to water here in Lorain County, and the fact that we're working on the 6119, the sewer district. All of these things are all Dave's bailiwick when it comes back to the strategic plan as to what does North Ridgeville, I better shut up. What does the Lorain County going to look like 3 to 5 years from now? So to answer your question, a strategic plan probably, and all the things that we're working on, we're looking at a 5-year, I would say 5 years out, would be the inside, because the land, all the things that we need to do. And beyond that, if it's planned right, it extends all the way out to 10 years. So it really will give you a map, not you, but future commissions. If we go to 7, it'll give them and other administrators and all of us that's in the staff kind of a guidepost to move the county forward and take advantage of how great we are in Lorain County and how we can take the silos down and make it work.
And if I could add to that, when you do a strategic planning, you're looking at long-term and short-term planning, you have to make sure that your results are attainable and achievable. And often if you plan too far out, you lose sight of those two objectives. And so a 5-year window gives us an opportunity to set some shorter-term objectives and goals. But to the county administrator's point, on a longer-term basis, I would anticipate that this will be refreshed as we move forward through not only through the first 5 years, but beyond that as well. So this is a good starting point, a guidepost to set some goals and objectives for the county to reach, but we'll continuously review and update progress on a going forward basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in addition, just to support what Dave's saying there is, yes, it is in the plan. It's a 5-year plan. I think one of the reasons why we selected 5 years is the fact that this has never been done in Lorain County before. So it's a pretty big endeavor. However, we did also include, as part of the professional services that we're looking to hire here shortly, is how are we going to make sure we're staying on track? You know, every year, we're going to go back and look at the plan again and see if there's any way we can update it. How are we going to maintain this? This isn't a one-and-done kind of deal. This is a living, breathing document that we're going to continue to work for 5 years and beyond. This is just the first step in that process.
And I would like to share also, as projects that the county administrator was talking about, we have a habit in government from the short time I've been here. We tend to be very project oriented, and we tend to silo things, and we look at them in their own right, not as how they fit into the other pieces and parts that are moving along. And what the strategic plan will do is take a look and set those goals for not only economic development, but taxpayer services, jobs and family services. How are they connecting to the community? How are we improving quality of life for folks? How's the engineering department going to relate to, how can we improve that process? And as a result, I think what it'll do is it'll get us focused on what do we do, not what do we do to get reelected, but what do we do to hit the master plan? And yes, we'll all have to get reelected if we're going to choose to do that, but we should be able to run on the success of delivering to the master plan. And I think that'll help everybody get more faith and trust in county government.
Okay, my issue at hand is the county seems to be struggling with post-traumatic Cortez syndrome, which is how things were run in this government for 20-plus years. I was here in 2001. For 4 years, I was more of a watchdog and not a policy implementer. For the first 2 years here, I ended up being a watchdog again. This year, we're implementing policies that's irritating a lot of people, but what's happened is the way things were done, this change is part of our strategic plan and how to move forward, how to do budgets, how to spend money, which is what I'm more focused on. What you heard with the other commissioners, my focus is more on how do you move forward so that the money is accountable to each and every department, each and every elected official. And for the first time this year in November, we will be having that discussion. Also, due to time constraints, we're not able to add levies to the meeting today. I will be requesting under new business that we are going to have a meeting on Tuesday at 5 o'clock, our regular time, to discuss levies, to discuss some issues in regards to townships, and we're going to discuss some board appointments. So I will be talking about that under new business. But when they talk about a strategic plan, it's more than just, I mean, it's bigger, and hopefully it could be a roadmap for everyone how to manage and put accountability on everybody in the county and how they're spending taxpayer dollars. And I'm looking forward to seeing that and bringing the right people, and hopefully they can tell us this is how we're going to move forward. This is how we're going to budget our money to each and every department and elected official. And again, it's another tool to measure everybody. And that's what I'm excited about with this. I know I don't sound excited, but that's what I'm excited about with this strategic plan. It's a lot bigger than just this 2 sentences, okay? This is what bothers me. This is a great resolution, but it's a lot bigger than 2 sentences. I feel it's creating a positive impact for this county. The employees and everybody will have a way to measure us. And I believe moving forward, as we change administrations continually, they'll at least have a map to move forward and they can measure on. Does that sound about right? Because you look a little concerned now.
No.
That's her natural look. That's her natural look, okay.
What this resolution is actually just authorizing the
I know it
county
is, I know.
administrator to kind of start the negotiation process to select a company that could help us with this. I think when we come back with that final document is the time that we can maybe give a presentation as far as what exactly we're doing and the time frame in order to
Okay.
get that done.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And a comment on with regards to where we're headed is this, the team that we have, not my team, but the team that we have, the administrative team really is working extremely hard in increasing the productivity of the county employees that are out there. We have a lot of people that are very, very good. We've got other people that are struggling, and we're either going to help them struggle out of the hole or find something else for them to do. So the administrative team that we meet regularly, and we look forward to bringing more productivity and accountability to, as we have in the last 6 months as we move forward, because you guys and Commissioner Hung, and have asked us to do to make sure that we bring forth good government and accountable government. Thanks.
She gets Commissioner Hung, and we don't get Commissioner you guys?
I struggle with all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Everybody's talking.
Ms. Administrator, as you were talking about a meeting that you were involved with Commissioner Riddell, and that you didn't have a vote, but then when I read this, you're talking about negotiations with selected applicants. So I think, are you ready to be upfront with the public and say that you've selected somebody already? Because you said you didn't have a vote. A vote in what?
They have not selected I do not, the team that's there is, certainly I had some input, but Karen and Tracy and Dave, Jeff and I were there. Jeff were as listeners to see where we are, because I need to know if we're running this project, we meet as a team. So they have not selected that group. I know that they're going to be getting together here in the next day or so, maybe even today. They're going to have a conversation to try to move this forward.
Can I step in real quick, just to be a lawyer? They're not going to select anything. The board's going to select something.
Right.
They may come up with a recommendation for the board.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, there may be recommendations, there should be recommendations, but the selection will happen here.
Because I haven't seen any of these proposals. I know you've mentioned that you've received them I guess I'm asking, when you get them narrowed down, can you forward them along to all 3 commissioners?
We can do that.
Great.
Yes.
Anything else?
One last remark, we would be remiss if we didn't say thank you to Tracy Green and Lorain County Community College for making her available. She's been involved in 3 successful over 20 years, strategic plans for the college, and I think the college, their success is, undeniable. So we're looking forward to that kind of same thing, and Tracy did a fantastic job. And when I said that, when Jeff indicated he didn't get a vote, we told him we weren't going to do this the North Ridgeville way, we were going to do this the Lorain County way.
Well, it's been 5 months. He's getting used to it, so, okay.
It's almost washed out. It's almost
Yeah,
washed
we're getting them there. We're getting.
Commissioner guys.
Commissioner guys. Thank you, Karen.
Commissioner guys and gals,
Yeah,
guys and gal,
That
that would
better-
be singular.
that better not be a headline. Anything else? Okay, I guess we better vote.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes,
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Under Emergency Management Agency, Homeland Security, 12, adopting Lorain County Emergency Management Agency response fee schedule for emergency management hazardous materials spill response, effective July 28, 2023, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 3745.13.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. Freeman, would you like to discuss anything in this? Okay.
Give you a brief overview.
Okay. Welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
Good morning.
I'm Dave Freeman, I'm the Director of Emergency Management. So under Ohio Revised Code 3745.13, we're actually tasked with going after cost recoveries for spillers in the county. And the way that works is when we have fire, law enforcement, public works, who's ever involved with that, the hazardous material teams, of course, they incur personnel costs. And then there's equipment cost as well. The equipment costs are set by FEMA under their equipment rate schedules. And of course, the personnel costs are set by the individual agencies depending on their salary schedules. The portion that I submitted to you for resolution is actually a little more nebulous. And the way that it works in most counties is they do this. They adopt a resolution and make it official so that when we submit bills to the spillers, we actually have an official document. We can show them that we're authorized to do so. And the way I developed the schedule is the schedule of equipment is straight off of FEMA schedules. And then our administrative fee is based on a survey of all the emergency managers that I was able to contact. And that's pretty much the going rate, the 10% of the total cost for administration, because we do all the filing, all the applications, preparing all the paperwork for them, and then compiling that all and sending it to the spiller as a request for payment. So,
Okay.
any questions?
No.
Thank you,
Do
Commissioner.
you still have an opening in your department?
I do, sir.
That's just my short, cheap plug to get it, if anybody wants to apply. Okay. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
yes,
Under Job and Family Services, 13, authorize a sub-grant agreement between Lorain County Department of Job and Family Services and Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Ohio, Lorain, Ohio, in the amount of $96,525 for a social and emotional learning program for low-income Lorain County children. This is effective August 1st of 2023 through September 30th of 2024 and will be paid from the TANF funds account.
So moved.
second,
Discussion? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
yes,
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Solid Waste, number 14, authorize a reimbursement payment to NEM Construction, Inc., Lorain, in the amount of $300,000 from the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency passing through Lorain County Solid Waste Management District for scrap tires grant to be paid from the other expenses grants account.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
yes,
Under Children's Services, 15, authorize and resend various personnel to utilize the agency's MasterCard for the year 2023, not to exceed 2,500, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code and their permissible policy.
So moved.
second,
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
yes,
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Under Engineer, 16, authorize county engineer to enter into LPA Federal Local Let Project Agreement with ODOT for Griggs Road Bridge Number 0157 superstructure replacement in Rochester Township. This estimated cost of the new bridge is $649,000, and federal funding would be made available at 100% in state fiscal year 26.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Any comments in regards to this? Are you good? Okay. I see it's 100% funding, so good job. Okay.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
yes,
E, public comment.
Brian?
didn't want to hold Jeff up today, so I got up
I-
a little earlier, so.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Brian Baker, 49822 Greystone Drive. And, Commissioner, I liked your comments, Commissioner Moore, when you said about being accountable to the employees of Lorain County, but I think there's another part of that. And I listened to Director Berner's, his presentation and assumptions and projections on Tuesday, and one caught my attention. He talked about a carryover. He talked about here. So what I thought about is there a way that the county commissioners can ask all departments, because it seems like he put a pretty good projection together 6 months into the year. So is there a way that we can bring something here that you report out to the county, which is really we should be accountable to the taxpayers, the voters, correct? Because that's where the money comes from, not really the employees. But when I listened there, the carryover one caught my attention. And I know that some of that could be CARES Act, but when will those carryovers, when will we know about carryovers? Is that not till the end of the year? And I know you have to take out CARES and ARPA because it's gone. Basically, it's all done. So when would those numbers be available? Because we're talking about, I think, what was it, 73 million? You said what we were going to take in taxes. We got requests for 84 million. But if people are giving money back or didn't use it, and I think that'll happen because I think the numbers you said were like 35 people jobs aren't filled. So there's a savings there. When will those numbers be known?
So that tax budget that was passed, I kind of lost track of time, not
July 18th.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that tax budget, that document there takes a look at not only the general fund, but all the special revenue funds as well. So at this time, like you mentioned, we won't know the exact carryover until the fiscal year, that fiscal calendar is over. But that tax budget does take an estimate, a look at all those different budgets to see where we kind of project to be at this time. So that tax budget document that was passed a few weeks ago would have a lot of
So
those
how about the
figures.
budget that was passed in January, correct? That was our budget. Do we have any updates on that budget? I mean, I come out of the private sector, work for the IBW. We had to do a budget, and we had to give updates on the budget. And I will say, the thing with enterprise, I was fortunate. We had 225 vehicles in a fleet for the IBW. And
Through Enterprise?
we didn't use Enterprise, but I know that we were switching to them, but we used another company. But it was a way to do it, and it is a savings. It takes care of your maintenance. It does a lot of things. So I do commend you for looking into that. But we did that for our people that were in the field and stuff like that in our international office. But what I would say is, how do we get a report here? We're 6 months into this budget, and we know nothing except we come here and watch requisitions, or we watch bills, we watch things come up. So how do we get that projection, or who can I go to find that information, I guess is what I'm asking.
There you go. Yeah, what I do is I usually talk to KC. That's why a lot of people were upset with me in January, where we cut a lot of people's budgets, because the way the auditor said we're going to do about 67 million, and we passed the 70+ million. So I kind of waited till the first quarter.
Okay.
And once we saw that the numbers are going to be projected higher, and the history of the auditor has always been for 10 years, as Casey and I reviewed, he's always been about 10% less than what he projects, because he's playing conservative ball, that's his job, you know?
No, I understand.
And so after the first quarter, when we saw that the revenue projections were coming in, again, this is what part of the strategic plan we talked about earlier, and we're going to be looking at changing the way that we can hold everybody, including directors, accountable to their budget.
No,
So-
I do understand
Okay,
that, but
so-
what I would say now is, how do I, as a citizen of Lorain County, try to find that information?
Oh, you can get that through Casey.
I mean, but
You can get
but
public
those
record,
Those
yeah.
are projections, right? So you got to do them through the public record,
Well, no, he
right?
can give you actually year-to-date actual,
Okay.
and he can do look,
Okay.
Casey's nodding.
All right, I'll get
Mr.
with them
President?
after the
Yeah,
meeting.
go ahead.
So I think it was a $74 million budget we passed in January. So I think what he's asking, Assistant County Prosecutor, is to know the numbers that were returned
Right.
from the previous year going into 2023. That's what you want to know, right? And that is a public records requestable
Well,
thing,
and
item?
it's probably, there are going to be some things that aren't going to be public. I'm sure, like the sheriff's budget, there's going to be things in there that are not, are subject to public records requests. My budget, probably the same thing. I don't know, what I don't know here is for the other electeds, right, who don't operate necessarily under the control of the commissioners once the budget's passed, if Casey is getting regular updates on where they are in the budget year.
Okay.
I think that, is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that data is readily available. I can, to see where we are year to date.
For everybody?
Okay,
Okay, well, there you go then, yeah.
okay. All right, I'll get with you after. the
We're
meeting.
working
That
on it.
answers the
One,
Thank you.
one last thing, I don't know, I know you said something about the build-outs for the offices. I don't know if that was directed to me complaining, but I didn't come up here and complain,
No,
I've just
no.
questioned.
No, you were
so-
questioning it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a complaint.
Brian, you
'cause I
never complain.
Try
You
not to
always
come up here and
question.
complain.
I know.
I try to get answers
I
to
complain,
questions.
that's my job here.
Yeah, Brian, that was about the remodel down on the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
floor.
Thank you.
Brian,
Yes.
there's also a difference, carryover, there's carryover funds, and then there's unspent funds. And whilst unspent funds can become carryover funds, there is a dollar amount of carryover that the county has to maintain for oopses and recessions and all those kinds of things in order to maintain our bond rating and keep our borrowing costs down. So, there is a planned carryover, but there's also sometimes unspent funds, and they can be carried over. You intended on hiring some people and you didn't get them, but the next year you're gonna have them, so you can carry that money forward. It's not lost, but it's not part of the county's carryover.
You gotta realize, Jeff, I worked in DC and I watched people put a lot of things in budgets for a lot of money. That's all you do is you ask for more, because if you don't ask, you'll never get it. So what I'm saying is all I'm doing is looking for an update where we are today on the 74 million we passed in January. What's our updated budget today? That's what I'm looking for.
All right, and right
Okay?
now, we're on line to generate about, the projection 73 million.
Okay.
So just to let you know that, that's, again.
So
we
we're
had
gonna be
our-
a million short from what we approved.
Well, so far,
Okay.
but like I said, that's our
Okay.
job up here.
I mean, I guess that's just
Yeah.
what I'm asking, because
Yeah.
really the citizens should know that.
Correct. We had
Because
our,
if you look, there's probably potential to 4 or 5, sorry about that.
no, that just meant you
4
went
or
over your
5.
8-minute limit.
4 or 5, I mean, but there's potential for levies to come up, and it's, I mean,
Well, they'll
everybody
be
should know that what's gonna come, and they're coming.
And I hope you come out on Tuesday night, because hopefully what Casey was.
Yeah, I'll be here Tuesday.
Oh,
I
yeah, no,
don't
no,
miss too
trust
often.
me. This is hopefully, Casey will.
Okay.
That's what he gets for going on vacation. He took some days off, and now I'm burying him, so.
All right.
And that's also, Brian, you brought out a good point, because the county lives on sales tax, not income tax.
I understand
Very
that.
little real estate tax.
I understand
And
that.
so as the economy goes, so do we go. And obviously, things like autos have slowed down with interest rates going up, and housing has slowed down a little bit, and so.
That's why I'm gonna ask you for a project labor agreement.
Yeah, well,
We
we're
use
also.
local labor, and
Yeah.
the dollar regenerates 7 times in the community, so people spend more and we get more sales tax, correct?
But, the downside
Okay.
about high interest rates is that we actually made an extra $2 million, although the citizens are paying for it, but,
Well,
So,
thank you.
like I
I'm
said,
sorry
there's
I went
other
over my
ways.
time, but Jeff kept asking.
you're at,
questions.
you're good. You're at 10 minutes. You're fine, Brian. Yeah, well, I think we've known each other for 20 years, so I can pick on him, right? He's like, no.
I think that's the only.
County Administrator? Do you have a report?
No report, I've already given it to you.
Okay. Karen, do you have anything? No? Clerk's report?
Nothing.
Board correspondence? That's all we have?
That's it.
Wow. Move to waive the reading of the board correspondence?
I'll second that.
There we go.
You could
Okay.
actually request.
And that's like 3 in a row. Okay. Oh, you know what? I should have.
Commissioner Moore?
Motion's on the floor, you're done.
Right,
Oh,
we already
Michelle,
went
you gotta be
past,
quicker.
we already went past discussion.
Ah,
Would you like me to publications?
no.
No,
Okay.
we already voted.
Commissioner Moore?
I,
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
All right.
New business.
I'm gonna request that, with permission from this board, that we hold a meeting next Tuesday. And I want to discuss and put on the agenda, we have a LEPC board appointments we have to organize and get ready. They have to have that in for a vote down in Columbus by August 9th. If we were to wait till August 8th, I don't think it'd be a sufficient time. Also, we received our certifications in regards to those 3 levy requests after the 9:30 deadline that we had to report to the public, so we couldn't have that discussion today. The prosecutor advised me we could probably do it, but I felt that I want the public and the people to be able to participate, and I didn't want to think we're going to hurry up and, rush this through. So we'll be having a meeting that discusses that. Also, this week, the Supreme Court ruled in regards to windmills in Erie County and Huron County, these solar farms and windmill farms. So I'm going to be asking this board to have a discussion in regards how Lorain County moves forward in regards to some of this alternative energy that's out there. So those are unless there's anything else you guys can think of we can add, we got till Monday at 4 o'clock. I'm sure Teresa would rather have it earlier for us to publish our Tuesday 5 p.m. meeting. So all I'm asking for is I'm making a motion to have a county commissioner meeting, I guess. I'm looking at my prosecutor.
Meeting.
I don't think I need to say special, do I?
Special meeting, that's what you're doing.
So these are the 3 items, unless you come up with something else before that time limit.
Well, I have 5 items here. So,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah, if you split out the 3.
Okay.
First of all, not to be.
Okay, I'm stopping my motion. Go ahead.
It's a special meeting because it's not on the regular scheduled meeting, so we have to provide separate notice. The clerk's correct about
Correct.
that. You've identified 5 areas
Yep.
that you want to talk about for the board to decide whether there's going to be a meeting. If you want to add items to that, as long as those additional items are on the notice the clerk will provide within however many hours. I can't
4
remember,
hours prior, yeah.
then we can still cover those meetings. But it's important to note for the board that unlike a general meeting, a generally scheduled meeting, you can't bring something up off the floor, or it's got to be limited to the topics.
So we can't bring up requisitions if they need it?
You'd have to have it in the notice. The requisitions would have to be in the notice.
You don't think we need it? Okay, good. Then,
And Teresa will work that out. I
okay.
mean,
So I'll make a motion to have a special meeting in regards to adding on a resolutions for the LAPC board appointment, something in regards to the windmill, possible legislation for Lorain County and the 3 levies in question that we've already, we do have the certification, I guess, on. So that's my motion for Tuesday at 5 o'clock, August 1st.
Second.
Anything further?
Any discussion? None? Okay.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Mordell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
I do want to say one thing before we leave. In regards to letting Enterprise sell our vehicles, I know maybe if we could talk to the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's office, and maybe any of our other departments, if they need these vehicles, they have low mileage. If you can at least talk to them before we sell them outright, because they are low mileage vehicles. So if you guys can talk to them, just that's all I'm asking. You guys are whispering. What you got? I don't like your grins. So I don't think I know.
They don't talk to us at all. They just.
What?
Just a quick response.
Yeah.
It's, what we've done is we've taken the better vehicles
Yeah.
that we have, and we're gonna sign those out to, like the Records Center, Workforce Development, and those are the agencies and departments that work for us that transport their mail back and
Okay,
forth,
okay.
basically. So the ones that we're actually selling through Enterprise are the oldest and least desirable vehicles, and I don't think that the prosecutor's office would.
Well, as long as you had those discussions with everybody, don't assume, you know what happens, so. Okay, thank you, that's all, I didn't. Anything else? If not, we're adjourned.
I will pass these down.
Oh, Michelle, are you signing?
Yep.
Started 1 minute, finished 1 minute or?
Well, we still did 60 minutes, so. What time that's being said? I thought you guys needed, he said you guys may need,
I don't know, that's the investigation.
that's what I mean, but I think you're short, 'cause I think Burge was asking for more cards at one time.
I'm right for Jeff, because I haven't used the fleet vehicles since I made them.
I never use fleet vehicles, so.
Yeah, they don't have air conditioning or, you know, the one Focus that we had an AM radio and no.
You had to go fast with the windows down there.
What do they call that? T60?
Automobiles are a very personal thing, and I don't know about other people, but
You can
even
shut
when
the.
my wife and I go someplace, if it's not important to take her.